Hi everyone. So tonight I do not have a coloring chat. I know the videos for those have been kind of sparse lately, and with pre-recording the ones that were of Dahlia, I don't think I've colored on camera for about 2 weeks now, and I have been coloring on my own, and trust me, it is not because I want to. Maybe it would help if I actually looked at the camera. There's been some medical issues going on. I might talk about that at the end of the video, or I may just wait till I do a color and chat. We'll just see how it goes. Not going to talk about it much to start the video though, because I want at least the first part of this to be a tag video. So Anne over at A Colorful Life has created or has been inspired by a 7 Deadly Sins of Crafting tag that was originally, make sure I get her name right, Sabrina Ann, and she adapted it to the 7 Deadly Sins of Coloring. And so immediately I was intrigued by this, and as I was thinking about it, I realized, when was the last time I had my camera facing me? And I think it was when Cal passed away, like the day after. And not that I look much better right now, but I was kind of a mess that day. But today, at least, as you can see, this is my Star Cats t-shirt, and I also have some little Pac-Man ghosts or whatnot there. So I tried a little bit. This is, I mean, you want to see real me, that'd probably be like a tank top and shorts, and I'm not going to subject anybody to that. So we'll just settle for middle of the road. I'm good with this. This is about all I could do tonight. So anyway, Anne had pretty much tagged everybody on their channels to do a video for this as well and give our own answers, so I thought I'd take a crack at it. The first one, and I'm looking at my monitor here if you keep wondering why I'm looking in that direction. So I don't have cue cards or anything, you know, it is not that serious around here. So the first one is pride, and the question, or the prompt on that is the picture or coloring page that I'm most proud of. And for me, hang on, I tried to get organized today, y'all. In July, I believe, Zoe Archer hosted a color along for Hannah Lynn. I had not purchased any of her books, but I purchased a few that month, and one of them was Maui Mermaids and Island Whimsy Girls. And I only managed to get one picture done that month, but this was my very first skin tone picture. I was also using some Hero brand Wan Shui, it's basically the same thing, oil pencils, which I had never used before either. And not only did I try to tackle this, but as most of you know that have been around for a while, July was an extremely difficult month for me with Felix passing away. So in the midst of all that, I managed to not jack up my first skin tone. So here is the picture that I finished. You can see how shiny it is. That's a lot. That's a lot of colored pencil layers. But her skin tone came out great. I shouldn't have worried about it as much, and I still do. I've done maybe 3 or 4 skin tones now, but every time I still get terrified. But hers came out great. I love how the parrot came out and the actual ship and stuff. So I put a lot of time and effort into this one, and I don't know. It's one where I actually put in a lot of effort, and for me it paid off from day one. So, and it helped take my mind off other things that month. So agreed. Collection tool or something on my wish list. Prismacolor markers. Now, I know they don't get quite the same amount of love on YouTube as, say, Copics, and hang on a minute, let me grab one. I'm not going to sit here and argue and tell you they're better than Copics, because, well, first off, I haven't fully tested out either, and secondly, there's really no better than. It's really just, you know, sometimes you find a certain brand or certain coloring supply that, like, it's almost like a match made in heaven from step one of using them. I'd had a small pack of these when I was trying out alcohol markers. And for those of you who haven't seen them before, they are Prismacolor markers. They do have a brush tip set, but I have the chisel tip with the bullet tip on the other end. I don't know what it is about these markers, but I get the least amount of streaking when I use these. They're a little easier for me to use than the brush tips because I'm just not I'm not in practice with them, but to be fair, I'm not really in practice with chisel tip either. Mostly I'm just really controlling and I use this unless it's a wide area, which probably explains why I have like 6 parts to my colorings even when markers are involved. Anyway, they had, what was it, a 72 set? Something like that, marked down on Amazon for $100, and I'd had a small set of them and loved them, but they're not refillable, and I was like, oh, that just doesn't make any sense. But as soon as I saw those, and that's for the chisel tip, brush tips higher, I immediately got them, and honestly, that was the best purchase I feel like I've made in a long time. I love these things. I use them constantly, and I use my Copics too. They're back there as well. I'm using them more and getting more confident with them. This one, I'm sure Copics are the same way because of the way you refill them, but the ink reservoir on the inside is the same for both sides, so it gives you a lot of color consistency. And like I said, when I work with these, I tend to be a lot more comfortable with them. Not sure why. Some of it may be the colors as well, because for the most part, the color names on here match the Prismacolor pencils, which I love using. So it's very easy to use these and then follow up with the Prismacolor pencils. I already have to buy a new cream one because I pretty much ran this one out last night. I might want to buy a 5-pack of those. So yeah, I know I don't have all the colors. I want every single color, and I want every single color in duplicate because I know I'm going to run through these fast. Number 3, Lust, a coloring product I want. So other than my love of Prismacolor markers, I am really warming up to water brush pens, or brush pens, or real brush pens, or whatever they call them. I started out with a set of Tombos, and then I got an Arteza set, and I hadn't had a chance to try it out till last month, and that was another one. The Artezas in particular, I guess it's the softer brush tip. It's almost more like an actual brush, you know, you're painting with, and again, I just clicked with it from the get-go. I haven't, well, we'll get to that in a minute, but I've been looking and looking at the Color watercolor brush pen set, and they come with refills, and I'm super excited about that. And at first I didn't get them because the refills, I hadn't seen those out yet, and I know how I get, and if I'd run out and hadn't started those, putting those out for sale, I'd been in trouble. But anyway, so I don't know why I haven't purchased them. I really don't. I put them on, I look at them every time I scroll down my wish list, and I know they would be lovingly used, but I don't know. I'll probably ask for them for Christmas or something. I will own them one day. And I have to say, their case, I don't think I have it near me, but their cases are just fantastic. Their glittery gel pen case just sparkles, and you just want to like pet it. It's really pretty. So anyway, that's the product I really want. So Wrath, a coloring product like that you love, or something that you love and hate. And wait, I skipped one, didn't I? No, I didn't. We're good. Wrath. Okay, here we go. I have a love-hate relationship with, well, Ollie's, first of all. I stopped in there again today, and we're not going to talk about that today. So I had other things going on. We'll talk about that later. But that kind of applies to the next one partly. But in terms of a real coloring supply, we're going to go back to the Tombos, because the very first buddy color I did was in, no, it was the second one I'd done, and it was in Magical Jungle. And I really wanted to use my Tombos because I hadn't had a chance to use them. And I'd seen a video where there's some different techniques, particularly when you take them and put them on like an acrylic block or something metal or plastic, and then you can use a brush or a water brush to use it as a real watercolor, or use it as a watercolor format like that, like we're all familiar with. that just blew my mind. And I love that page. It all blended together beautifully. I'd used gesso on it, didn't have any problems with bleed through. Ever since then, I've been fighting with them. I think I've gotten spoiled with the really soft brush tip on the brush pens. So the Tombos, it's a lot stiffer type of brush, and I haven't really learned much how to use it yet. It's kind of similar to the Crayola brush tip markers. It's just a really tough tip to it, and I'm always worried I'm going to damage them. Of course, they're, you know, a high-end brand and stuff. So I love them when it clicks, but it takes me a while to get them to click, if you get my drift. Next, Gluttony. Well, I feel like Anne's answer was spot on, and this is why I said Ollie's. But, yeah, coloring books. If you see behind me, you can see some of the stacks I have. And there's, like, up on the desk, and I'm not going to move the camera because it will wobble. I'm actually using my cell phone for this. Let's hope it doesn't tell me it runs out of battery or space. There's a whole another set of coloring books up on the top of the desk as well. And some more on my desk from the place we shall not name. Which some of those, to be fair, I gotten for future gifts and giveaways. So, yeah, keep telling myself that, right? But see, that, I don't want, you know, I want to be a little different here. So that's a given for me. I would say, things that I just keep buying, gel pens and fine liners. I don't know why. I don't know how it happened. But at some point, I had like 10 different brands of gel pens. And my plan was to review them. And like I picked up little packs of some of them from Prime Day, but I also picked up fine liners. And all of a sudden, I mean, because gel pens and fine liners pretty much have the same kind of point. I mean, now sometimes you want something glittery, you'll use gel pens. They're different, you know, different products, but still, I have so many and I don't use them as much as you think I would. So if you can see back here, like, that's how most of my gel pen organizers look. They're pretty much just falling over the edge. Like if I stacked one more gel pen on the top of them, they'd fall over. And when I fell in love with the Scribble Stuff pens, I went back to the place I'm not going to name again, and I got like 2 more packs or maybe 3 more, and then I just had to stop myself. I said, no, you got to stop. This is enough. You'll have gel pens till 2025 at this point, so let's hope they don't dry up in the meantime. Envy. That is a fellow crafter or colorist you envy, and why? For me, I think it is coloring at V's. I've been watching her Inktense series this month in the Spooktacular book, which is one of my favorite coloring books ever. I really wish they made more like those for other times of the year. But she did an Inktense series. It was actually one of the pictures that first jumped out at me, and I loved watching how she used it on that paper. And it's not like watercolor level paper or water-based media. It's not, but with just using a little bit of water, she was actually able to get some really awesome effects. And all her pictures, every month I see them and I'm just like, oh my goodness. I mean, I love them, and I'm like, I sometimes want to be able to color ones like that, but I also know how much time can go into those, and I know how slow I am as it is. So y'all see maybe 1 picture a month like that. So anyway, if you haven't seen her channel before, please go over and check it out, because like I said, especially the Inktense, it just blew me away. And I have Inktense now. I have to get out and play with those, because now I'm intimidated by those, but not watercolor pencils. I don't know why. Probably because it's permanent. So yeah. And the last one's Sloth. Something I am lazy about when it comes to coloring. Well, I'll agree with Anne on the whole pulling stuff from every which way and then not putting it back for a while. I want to show y'all this. I just about dropped them all. But yeah, this is from a few random projects that I'm working on or have been working on. And it used to be a lot worse than that. I mean, I'd have 2 or 3 of those things just full, and it would all be nice and neat and organized, and then a week later I'm having to spend hours sorting all this back. That's what led me to that back there, because now, at least, and I have my pencil set up the same way. I'll have to talk about those one day. But when I'm putting these up now, I just grab them, you know, and I'm just looking at them. And I get all my blue alcohol markers together. And then over here, I just pop them back into this one. So, no cases. If anybody's in the market for some marker and pencil cases, let me know. I'm not quite ready to get rid of them yet because I want to make sure this works for me. And I'm in love with it. I don't think it will go away. But anyway, that is the easiest way for me to actually put stuff back and not constantly be missing something because it's in some random bucket somewhere. And I pull out, I mean, I'll do pencils, colored pencils, watercolor pencils. I'll use distress ink. I'll use markers and gel pens, and those are my favorite kind of projects, is where I use a whole bunch of different things. So you can imagine the mess that I make when I'm just randomly pulling stuff. But I have another answer as well. And another reason why I did this, I don't end up using products that I can't see at a glance. So if I'm sitting here coloring and I'm trying to look for something specific I want to do, if it's right beside me, or hint hint back there, I can just grab it, and if it's in front of me, I'll use it. If it's tucked away somewhere, like it's just gathering dust, like the ink tints, I haven't found well, I do have a home for them over here now, but before they were tucked away and I hadn't hardly used them. I keep forgetting they're there. So, and when I'm coloring, I'm lazy. Sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to use this stuff because it's in front of me. So, yeah, so that's the reason for this. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Since everybody's been tagged, I guess everybody else is also tagged by me. I mean, there's no specifics here. Anyway, I did want to talk about that tonight because I've really been thinking on those last few days. And I know I talked way too much during that. But anyway, yeah, you know, actually, since I've done that, and I'm starting to not feel too hot tonight, I think we're going to wrap this up. Long story short, just as a quick summary, on top of everything else health-wise that's been going on, evidently I ended up with a root canal infection from a procedure I had done a few years ago, and the past few nights have been an absolute nightmare. I have not been able to keep it pain-free up until today, and it normally runs from here all the way down here. And when I went to get the root canal done, you know, history and all that, it might be different, but it wasn't this bad. And there's a whole story behind that and everything. And yeah, and the medication is making me nauseous since I already was. So what do I do, right? Like, I got to take the antibiotics at least, and I can't I can't deal with the pain. So anyway, that's why I haven't been posting much this week. I will try to get maybe a video up on Friday, flip through Friday as usual probably, but I'm going to go ahead and start recording another color and chat series, and it won't be Halloween stuff. I have plenty of that I'm working on right now. Got to get in that last week rush, you know. Anyway, thanks for checking out the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I tried to go off a little bit in a few directions just to make it interesting, right? Anyway, talk to you guys later. Bye for now.